in between, you also found time to become the founder director of a sports academy, along with your husband, your partner, and also you're a very noted person as a Shikshana Tagnaragi. So you also handle the ICSE syllabus board school.
For me, life, it's a constant learning experience. Nan retire aguvaga, I was determined to work with the specially challenged children. So I had known Ramesh Khanna then, who was the head of Special Olympics, and I told him after I retire, I'll come and help these kids. And I worked with these kids, helped them raise funds, and kind of took them for about a couple of Olympic Games and all that, while I was in the bank. But I also made connections with people like Kiran Mazumdar, and because they were my fundraisers for this Special Olympic kids. So I got to know a lot of friends through that way back in early 90s when I retired in 91 end. So I did that, and the bank was very supportive of what I was doing. I was also one of the advisory board member of Parikrama Humanity Foundation.
Exactly.
So at that point in time, we were about 1,000 slum and orphan children, provide them a quality
underprivileged.
education. Yeah. I wouldn't call them underprivileged, I would call them underserved. These young kids don't get the opportunity, and I think that was the reason we found that. So I helped them and the sports team that was built in Parikrama. So by the time I moved out after 10 years of setting that up, I also wanted to do something on my own. My husband was the #1 Maruti dealer in the country with Sagar Automobiles, and he was busy in his world. And somehow one day I was fed up with the bank of 17, 16 odd years. So before my typist, my stenographer and my clerk came, I went into the office. I don't drink coffee, tea as such. Now, officer or coffee, ban mele ne pen,
you wait for that caffeine rush. Allure kelsa arambha agalla.
Nandu by 2:30 ella mugspittu nan horbiಡ್ಬೇಕು. So I went in the morning before they came. I just typed my own resignation. I had discussed it with my husband. I said, I'm not enjoying work. I really just don't want to go. I feel I'm not doing enough. He said, leave. So you had the financial stability by then. So I could make that choice. Nande resignation naane type madbittu, nan GM kodbittu, I just left and I never turned back.
Back then you didn't have that 1 month notice period?
I had enough leave.
Oh, you could
I had enough leave because, you really don't utilize those leaves. So I had enough leave. I said, whenever you all want to relieve me, 3 months notice, you take it, 3 months, whatever. But it
so
just
clear.
sent shockwaves all over because I was handling, that time we had 1,000 odd branch. And I was the officer handling the 1,000 odd branch PR publicity.
You were the face of Vijaya Bank for the longest time, I guess.
Yeah, so, and I was also the sports officer. We had cricket team, kabaddi team, athletics team, basketball team. So I had to take care of all of them. And so that was, I just walked out, and then Datta was also kind of said, I've had enough of this Maruti thing. We consciously wanted to do something in our hometown. Though I've never grown up there.
But you wanted to give back something to the community.
Because every Kodava child would come to Mysore, Mangalore, Ooty to study. We really didn't have that kind of an ecosystem quality. We just one school in the vicinity, which was an ICSE school. So it was something that we wanted to do consciously back then. And that's how we started looking for space. And why I chose academics first is to have a good grounding for any child. You need to have academics. And I wanted to bring in, both my husband and I wanted to bring in an institution that we have all gone through, where sports is an integral part of our education.
True.
Because I'm a product of school games. ಈಗ ಆವಾಗ 1980s ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಟರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ BSA ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಆವಾಗ ಬಸ್ ಏನಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬಿಷಪ್ ಕಾಟನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಸೇಕ್ರೆಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಾಲ್ವಿನ್ಸ್, everybody would merge at Kantirva Stadium. So
distance was never
because you didn't have that concept of a school bus or you have to get this thing. ಹಾಕಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಲ್ವನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. And it was so good that people watched us in uniform going to the merge at that. They would be our spectators.
So you have the cheer all along.
You have cheer, and then in those days, even the school administration, the principals, our 7th, 8th, 9th na karkondu barta idru for cheering up teams in the last 2 days of the event. So iga Country Stadium alli Bishop Cotton had a designated space, Sacred had a designated, Francis Xavier's had a designated space. Our teams mele kootkondo they used to cheerlead. That was the environment, so vibrant, so robust. I wanted to create that back in our hometown.
We are missing it now, actually, in cities also. Now it's purely academics.
Yeah, so down the
Very
line,
few.
it just became academics, and it's sad that a young child is growing up in that. Whether you take in anticipation of results, the suicide cases, the kind of environment that we are creating for young kids was difficult, and I wanted to prove that sports and academics are
Should go
both
hand in
integral
hand.
part of a curriculum.
Yes.
And that's why Namshale we started with 25 kids, an ICSE school. Till 4th standard we started. 7th, then we got the affiliation from the ICSE board. Today I have 850 students. I can't take more than 850. That's our top number. Who pursue both. Today 4 of my kids are in Jharkhand and then one of the nationals in athletics. 8 of them are in shooting national going for the SGIF. So I'm looking at creating a base. And the base of the pyramid should be as large so that opportunities can come in.
And they can peak.
While they don't miss out on education.
What a thought.
So I think I'm not looking at elite athletes because there's plenty in
True.
the country who are looking at that. But at the very base, and I think it's important to provide. And if people can replicate this model in all districts of India,
What more to ask for? Definitely. Also, well-serving, Parikrama ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. Today it has grown much beyond than what you actually thought of.
Yes.
Though you're in and out of it, you keep looking into it. Avagaga ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. How is it today?
I mean, I've gone out of all that because when when I got into the foundation, Shukla was running the thing, and then she asked me to be on the advisory. And I think the first thing, I'd go to school and they say, Akka, if we do well, the kids would say, Akka, if you do well, namge on spikes, they would say. So we'd go to the stadium. They had never seen, from Ejipura slums to the Sahakarnagar slums, they had never seen stadium. So my first effort was, Avaga, Ponda Spy, Mate, Infosys, we used to do the KPMG inter-school sports. 3,000 maklu barta idru from all schools. And I said, you have to take part in this. So we built a team. So took them to the stadium. First thing was to make them run in a straight line because you have to run on a track, So they would run bare feet, and 3 consecutive years we won the champion schools.
Wow.
So we got 25,025. So kids would get spikes and tracksuit, and that was their joy. That was the joy. And I think that gave a lot of satisfaction to see the smile on those faces.
Exactly. Today we all have exposure
And of course,
to
now it's
athleisure.
grown with the Parikrama Football League, and it's all grown, and it's nice that you set it up and then, you take it, people take it forward,
Ivattu we have exposure to every other kind of brands, athleisures. There is a
Even
clothing
before
label.
they put in Maklu Olgade stadium, Olgade ne Baravaga, they'll have all the branded clothing.